Alrighty, welcome back, family. It is your man Vinny Vegas, and we are here today on another episode of Be Great Academy. And today we have two very special guests with us. This is actually, our first official episode of BGA as well, too. So definitely want to shout out that as well. But we're blessed to have two amazing individuals that actually flew in for us today, which even that is a blessing in itself. And they're not here just to talk about anything today, but to talk about one of the most important of the topics that you could think about right now, which is financial literacy. And so I want to give them the floor as well, too, but I want to make sure that I gave them the opportunity just to really get a chance to show like everything that they're bringing to the table today. And they have an amazing business that they're going to talk about today, which is Mental Achievers. But I want to give the chance and I want to give the floor to B and K from Mental Achievers. Let's give it up for them one time.
Yes.
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. So first, how are you guys doing today? I know you guys just got in. Was the flight in good? You guys been enjoying it so far?
Man, that weather, that heat. Boy, as soon as we got off the plane and went outside for the Uber ride, it was like, whoa, this something else. Yeah, that heat's something else, brother.
No, for sure. I tell people all the time that July heat is different.
Yeah,
like it really feels like you're walking in what I would consider like what is it? Not a hot air balloon, but like a blow dryer. That's what it feels like.
For sure.
Like you're like breathing in the heat. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it's definitely a blessing to have you guys today, man.
I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Man.
Absolutely. So I wanted to give you guys a chance really just to introduce the business before we kind of get into, what we call it, the meat and potatoes of it. But What is Mental Achievers exactly? And, what made you guys really come up with that?
So I'll start from my perspective. We created this as a financial piece and a relationship piece of an aspect of. So we noticed like financial literacy was lacking in our communities, in our household, and I know it was one of the things like I never grew up with. Nobody ever talked to me about the stock market, bonds, how credit card works, things like that, little simple things. So as I started educating myself, read more books, I started getting better to the point where, let's say, in the last from 2000 to 2005, I ran up six figures in the stock market. And I was able to escape the rat race and educate my wife alongside of me right here and give her a lot of knowledge. And we kind of learned together as we continue to educate ourselves and, read different books like Think and Grow Rich or just a lot of different various books. And then also on top of that, we travel a lot, and we would meet random people as far as when it comes to the relationship piece of it, and we'd end up, helping people in their relationship and giving them relationship advice. And, I guess it's helped as far as like how they've been able to maneuver. Some of them be able to, I would say, like prolong the inevitability of like whether they got to cut a relationship off or try a different route on how to rekindle their relationship. But definitely, those two, giving pillars as far as a financial piece and giving back as far as a relationship pieces as well.
Absolutely. Well, I always know they say behind every strong man is an even stronger woman. Absolutely. So, Kay, how do you come into this?
I don't know. No, I'm serious. I am like the student and the support system behind all of this. So anything that he's learned is like, you need somebody to talk with everything through. Sometimes you learn something and you read something, and it's just like, I don't fully understand it, but for him, he'll come back and he'll start talking to me, and he's like, oh, I read this book, and I'm like, what book we reading now? And then it's like, and then he'll go in and he'll start talking about it. So now I'm like, not necessarily forced, but I've basically been forced to, learn some of these things, and they're interesting because I'm like, I never knew any of this thing. We never talked about it. I knew about credit cards, I knew about checks and savings accounts, but I didn't know about, investing and buying ETFs and all of that. It's like, put your money in a 401k, you put some money in a savings account and you go to work every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's all you knew. But for him in like 2020, he started this journey, and it's just like, okay, I want to support you. But then I also became like a student as well. So now I'm like student, a little bit of a teacher, more of a support system. But, I'm here. But it's even nice to see that we're able to help other people and to be able to show them like, things are possible. Like, he's 40 years old. I'm 38. The things that we've been able to do, people in their 50s and 60s have not even come close to it, but to even look at ourselves and be like, it's possible. So when people see us in different places, they're like, wait, how old are y'all? Like, what are y'all doing here? You know, some people will ask, and some people just look at us crazy, but, you know, we're able to share, you know, the journey and the process. So it's like, why don't we start a business to actually teach people? Because they're clearly, you know, they're curious. So,
Absolutely.
Right, for sure.
You said something I wanted to touch on. I heard you mention that there was different books that he was reading that kind of caught your interest as well too. That's something that, you know, we talked about recently on another episode. We actually had another young lady who lives here in Vegas. She just came out with her own book as well too.
Okay.
It's actually right over here. It's The Art of Scars. But I was joking with her. I was like, that was my first time reading a book in almost 10 years. And so
wow.
I wanted to give you the floor. Like, what's 2 books for someone, you know, because I'm sure it's not just me. When you have someone that's watching this that hasn't read in a while,
Right.
what's 2 books right out the back that you would recommend them reading?
Definitely Think or Grow Rich. Phenomenal book. It gives you a different aspect as far as owning your own business and how taxes come into play. Differentiate what's an asset between a liability. And then what's the other one I'm thinking about with the one you just picked up with the he wrote about the devil.
Outwitting the Devil.
Right. What's his
Napoleon
other
Hill.
book though?
I can't think. You've gone through so many.
Yeah, but it'll come to me. But
Okay.
definitely those 2 books have been very instrumental to me as far as like setting the foundation of, okay, how to navigate and how to go through this, you know. So I don't know if you had any other books that you wanted.
I don't know. Mine is like Millionaire Next Door. Like, you
Think
know,
and Grow Rich. That's what it's called. Think
Okay.
and Grow Rich is the second book.
but yeah, mine would be Millionaire Next Door. It's like reading a book and you don't really understand that it's somebody next door to you that, you know, has money that, you know, because when you think of someone that's a millionaire, you thinking that, oh, they're wearing high ends, they're driving expensive cars, they're living, but it's not really the case. A lot of people have money and they're just driving a Honda or they're driving a Toyota, you know, and they have money, living an amazing life, and they're happy. So, you know, things like that, when you read these books, they're teaching you things that you just won't get from talking to someone else because you're not putting yourself around the right people, you know? So that's where a lot of these books come from.
Right. And let me clean up something real quick.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
2 different books, 2 different perspectives. But yeah, I definitely wanted to clean that up for the people so they can understand 2 books that will hit home and kind of set the foundation.
Okay. And I'm asking because I'm gonna make sure we add those titles of those books so
Okay.
that way we can put that out there for the people
No, I
as
got
well
you.
too. Absolutely. Now, my question before we actually get into it, what is it that has you guys so passionate about financial literacy? I mean, because my thought is, you know, it worked for you. You could easily have just kept that to yourself and, you know, what a lot of people consider gatekeeping.
Right.
And, you know, not went on and tried to help the next person. But what was it that made you so passionate about it to want to give this game to other people?
So I would say for me, like I said, me running up 6 figures in that short amount of time through the stock market, right? And then something Warren Buffett and a lot of other great people that are in the stock market said that their dad was into it and their granddads were into it. And I'm like, my immediate family, my parents were never into it. So to let alone they had all these different generations, educate them. They got such a further head start than we do in our communities. So I was like, that's what really made me passionate. And then not only that, it's really easy. It's not how it used to be back in the day. Like back in the day, you used to have to fill out a form, mail it in, not knowing you had that particular stock, get the certificate. Now you can do all this from your cell phone.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So once I started seeing how easy it was, once I, you know, lost the amount of money I needed to lose, whatever, and get out the way some of the obstacles and the hurdles, and I started to see actually like how easy it is, that's what became and made it more passionate for me and just getting out the rat race. Because I'm like, it's got to be something more to life than just being in a rat race, like your little hamster on the wheel, spinning your wheel, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it was for me.
What about for me? Oh, man, listen. I am one of the people, I don't mind going to work. And I don't mind, you know what I mean, doing a little overtime here and there. But I do want to do more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with investing, it gives the opportunity to be able to do more. Like you have the ability to do it full time, nothing else, you know, not going in and getting a regular W-2. And it gives you more of the ability to do that. But for us, it was just like, we want to go to 5-star restaurants. We want to go stay at the 5-star resorts because this man has high-end taste, and he'll say that I do, but it's really him. But he wants to go to all these places, and you need money to, you know what I mean, be in that. But you can't get that. You're going to work every single day because they only, give you 4 weeks of vacation after, you know what I mean, a certain amount of time, or 1 week per year. And it's like, I need more than that. So it's really more of like that freedom, that lifestyle that you want to have, you know what I'm saying, outside of the regular 1 week vacation, outside of, you know, those high-end restaurants. Like, we like to go shop, we like to spend money, we like to enjoy, you know what I'm saying, awesome experiences. And with that, you know what I mean, we're in an economy in the world that we need money. So
absolutely.
Sure.
If there's one thing I do know, you guys definitely like to shop. You know, that is how I met you guys. But there's something that you mentioned. You talked about the rat race, and that's something I don't think a lot of people really understand. So, what is it about financial freedom and like escaping the rat race that you're so passionate about?
Okay, so for me, like, I see so many people living check to check, right? And they not planning for, let's say you get hurt on your job, that little short-term disability, you're not gonna be able to get far off that. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you hospitalized and you getting behind on your bills now, but you never saved up. You never saved that 6-month cushion, or, you know, anything. Let's say your job lets you go. How long you got before, you know, you can skip a couple of checks before you really in the hole, and all that filing bankruptcy and stuff. Like, for me, I just felt like it had to be another way of life. So that's when I say the rat race, to me, that's the rat race. You live in check to check, and if one little thing, like, I don't want to put my life in the hands of a job. You know what I'm saying? Whether they say, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to do some cutbacks. I'm sorry, we're not gonna be able to give overtime. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a hard way to live, you know, and it just brings your spirit down. It brings you down as a person who you are. So it's just like, damn, like, so I just feel like it's even more passionate for me to just educate people, because it's like, by the time you go through that, it's too late. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You done already lost your job. You already hurt. You injured on your job. And like I said, that short-term disability is not going to go too far. So it's like you stuck. And now you know, you trying to take pennies on the dollar. You trying to figure something out. And you scrambling. That's just stressful in itself. Yeah. So I just feel like, be proactive. Don't be reactive. And now you like, damn. And then a lot of people, you know, they don't have no retirement saved up. Like, what's the plan of when you gonna retire? And then not only that, they keep pushing the retirement age back. So it's like, we gotta educate our people. We gotta educate the community and let them know, like, there's other ways. There's things that you can do. Even if you automating $10 a month, $10 a week to, you know, an investment, you know what I'm saying? At least you understand the power of how far the investment can go through compound interest. You see what I'm saying? So just learning those simple things, I think, will help. And that's what makes me passionate about the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's his passion.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's it.
And so without diving like too far into it, you know, I know something that someone would hear is like, you know, if they're living check to check, there's almost, the rat race almost seems like a continuous cycle. Yeah, and so like, what is it that you guys are teaching people to really help break that cycle?
So, like I said, one of the first things, just being reactive instead of proactive, giving them somebody else's like journey or hearing somebody else's story. Like, bro, I've heard stories of people giving they all for a job. Like, I don't know if you ever remember, what was the airline company? AirTran? AirTran, been there over 30 years. All of a sudden they come, closed doors, 401k gone, or pension gone. And it's just like, damn, you just invested 30 years of your life that you can't get back for a job. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like, nothing is more powerful than somebody else's testimony. And you could learn through somebody else's, you know, trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always try to advocate to people, like, don't become the victim. That can easily be you. What's to separate? Like, everybody think their job is so secure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Like, you think you work for Amazon, you think for Walmart, these places will never go out of business. And I respect that. But you can't say that for the same person that worked at AirTran. Airline was one of the top 3 airlines during this time. Like, you telling me he thought that it was gonna go out of business? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now he's a victim of that. Now he's having to start all the way over at the age of 55. You see what I'm saying? So stories like that, it bring pain to me. It hurts me. And then I try to tell people, like, I didn't come from money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to self-educate myself. Like, truly, I'm from the hood, bro. I don't know a lot of the things that they teach, like I had to put myself in the mind frame of a rich person. Like, how do rich people actually think? Because that's the only way you're going to get out of the rat race. Because if you continue with that consumable mindset, then you're going to always stay in the rat race and you ain't going to never have no money for yourself. You see what I'm saying? But you got to invest in yourself. And that's one of the things in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It teaches you pay yourself first. Before you pay a bill, before you pay anything, like you have to invest in yourself. Things that's going to bring you long-term money. And that is one of the things that it teaches you in that book where I'm like, what? How you going to pay yourself? But one of the things it taught, like, it teaches you because you're going to have to pay the IRS. You're going to have to pay your utilities. You're going to have to pay the roof over your head. But if you pay yourself first and get that out the way, then you will figure out a way, your mind will figure out a way to come up with the money to pay your mortgage, to pay your utilities, and all the other things that you have to pay.
Absolutely. No, I definitely understand that now. This question is going to be for you, Kai. I know that you guys kind of mentioned relationship counseling as well, too. How does that tie into the financial literacy aspect? And is there a connection between the two?
Yes, there's a complete connection. First off, when you're in a relationship, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, whether y'all are engaged or actually being married, actually in, a marriage, you're going to talk about finances. Finances are going to come up. You have jobs, you have things that need to be paid. So your household income, is what you all have to talk about. Y'all need to talk about how y'all going to pay for, the mortgage. How are y'all going to take care or raise kids? If something happens, someone gets sick, where's that money going to come from? You know what I mean? And those are conversations that people aren't having, which is something that we want to make sure that people are aware of. Don't be the statistic. Don't allow divorce to, come because y'all don't want to talk about finances. Like, we believe that's something that you should talk about first. Like, everybody wants to know, what's your favorite color? What do you like to go? What do you like to do? But my thing is, okay, you make money. What else do you want to do with that? You know what I mean? Do you want to work till you 65, 70 years old? You know what I mean? Do you want to take vacations? Do you have a savings plan? What other means of income are we bringing in? Because like he said, what I'm saying, my husband is, if you get sick or you get hurt, that falls on the next person. We have to have those conversations. We have to talk about it. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're not going to know what's going to happen the next year. But those conversations in a relationship have to happen, because if you're in a committed relationship, like I said, girlfriend or boyfriend, something's going to happen. I don't know if you've been with somebody 3, 4, 5 years, and you know what I mean? Especially in your 30s and 40s, because everybody else is getting older. So now you have things starting to change around you as far as your family. So, someone passes away, someone's moving, someone's having a child, like all of those things come back to finances, regardless of what you think. They're all coming back, and those are conversations that you have to have when, you're in a relationship. So I think for people, understanding financial and relationships are like one and one.
Absolutely.
That's real. And like, I want to add to that, like, as far as what she's saying, because she's spot on. I think a lot of relationships and a lot of marriages in a divorce, I would say 90% of them because of finances. And a lot of people will push back on that. But if you look at the root cause, because a lot of the simple things that go on in a relationship, you can get past that. Like, sometimes, like, when you have an argument with your partner or your spouse, you tend to forget what the conversation or what the argument was even about in the first place after, 5 hours and go by. You just have that where it's like, I want to make an amends with, whatever we were arguing about. But when it comes to finances and that's broken and it's not there, and now you're playing this tit for tat game, and it's like, oh, well, you didn't pull your piece of the pie, I didn't pull my piece of the pie. That spirals down into a hole where it's like, that's a dark place you don't want to be at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like what she's saying, like, definitely put that in the forefront. I know people want to talk about their favorite color, their favorite movie. But you want to make sure your financial responsibility and hardships are in line with one another. I would say that needs to be right on the lines with religious beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that alignment is there when it comes to, relationships.
Well, they say money is the root of all evil. So, when money comes, people start to change. You know what I mean? Like, people get more money. You know what I'm saying? You come into some money, what do people do? They start buying stuff, they start going places. Oh, they done forgot about you, you know what I'm saying? And if they lose money, you know, they don't have money, they lost their job, now they're mad, they're upset, they're in a dark place. That changes, you know what I'm saying, who that person is. So if y'all don't talk about it and you know what I mean, you don't go through those with the relationship, y'all aren't going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way about it because like I said, that person is going to change. But if we can communicate and we can talk about it and we can, you know, throw some scenarios out there and we can start to see how each other is going to evolve, how I can be supportive to you, you know, if you do come up on money or if you don't, like, where do I play in this whole, you know, situation? So I think that's something that people really need to understand is like, it's not just understanding the financial part, but you really get to understand how your partner is with money and how they are without money, because then you're able to support each other, you know what I'm saying, when those things happen, because it is going to happen.
Right. I mean, I think somebody just told me recently, like, life is gonna keep lifing. You see what I'm saying? So when it's two of y'all, two parts, it can be easier when it's two of y'all, and it can also be harder. And what I mean by that, let's say one of y'all lose y'all job. That one person might be like, okay, cool, I got you for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Out the while, now it's like, hey,
You gonna do something?
right, what you doing? Like I can't keep carrying you. Now you got that wedge and that divide. You see what I'm saying?
Stress, yeah.
So that's why you have to have these conversations in the forefront and say, hey, if this happens, what we're gonna do? What's our plan? What happens if my mom or dad gets sick? Are they coming in and moving in with us? Okay, what does that entail for our finances? Have these conversations. Remember
Right.
what I said. One of my biggest things that I'm big on, being proactive. Don't don't wait, cause bro, our parents gonna get older.
Yeah.
People, you know, what's the biggest saying? If you live long enough, you live to see everybody die. People gonna get sick. People gonna die that you care about. So what's the plan in place? Put the plan in place now. Don't wait until it happens. Now you being reactive. Now it's like, oh well, we got to figure it out. No, you at least talk about it. Have an open discussion about it. You see what I'm saying? Because if let's say my mom or whatever got sick and we never had a conversation of, oh, mom's coming here. You know what I'm saying? How you think she gonna feel?
Right.
And this my wife.
I'd be like, we're going on our trip or what?
You see what I'm saying? So you don't want to be blindsided and like, what you mean? You know how much I love my mama. You know what I'm saying? So had a conversation, bro. Like, be vulnerable with your partner.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you gonna lay down with them and y'all gonna be in the same house, same roof of y'all head. Had a conversation. That's the least y'all owe it to each other to be vulnerable and put the ego to the side and have that conversation.
I think you mentioned being vulnerable. I think that's what it comes down to in today's world more than anything. And I can only speak for men, you know, obviously, but I can understand, like, when you're talking about having some of these conversations up front, like, there's a lot of females who want, like, guys with 6 figures or who make this or make that. And so having these conversations up front almost immediately eliminate a lot of the men in today's world, which is why I think a lot of them aren't doing that. And so what do you say, like, to the guys who are just like nervous or just who are scared about having those conversations?
Let me break it down for you for the man and the woman side.
How you gonna speak for woman's side?
Oh, I'm just saying.
Come on,
Because I want to stick to the facts.
Gotcha.
First, because one thing we got to our side now when it comes to these phones, you can look stuff up easily. Look up how many men over a certain age make 6 figures, and ask yourself, as a female, what are you bringing to the table? What are you offering to have that? Because it's a small percentage. It's not a lot of, like, I get it. Everybody think everybody making good money. Bro, reality and what you think and what you believe are two different things.
Yeah.
So look it up and see how many people actually make 6 figures. It's not a lot of people. So first, I would say come in contact with reality. The second portion, when you saying as a man, opening up, being vulnerable, having that conversation. First of all, as a man, I gotta say my deepest, darkest secrets. I have to be understanding that you're not gonna weaponize it as my partner. You see what I'm saying? Once we establish that you're not gonna weaponize my deepest, darkest secrets, we can go from there. Now I can be more vulnerable. Now I can say, like, hey babe, the money how it was flowing before, it ain't flowing how it used to be. We might not be able to take these trips we used to do. We might have to take a break for 2 years. I need you to be down with me. I need you to be in my corner. It's gonna be temporary. I'm gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out together. But we just gonna have to take a break and kind of take a pause on some of the expensive trips and things that we're doing, and we're gonna have to hustle a little bit. But just please, just bear with me. You know, I'm here. I'm just trying to communicate with you. I'm just trying to show you what it looks like. And a simple conversation just like that. And now it's up. Now you're putting the ball back in the woman's court to see how she reciprocates that, to see if she's mature enough to put her ego and pride to the side and say, hey, I sympathize with you. And I'll let you speak from a woman's standpoint of what it should look like. But this woman right here, this is my rock. I can be super vulnerable. Like when the camera's not rolling, when nobody's around, when the family's not around, and we having these conversations, this is what it look like, bro. You don't get from 1 to 100 just like that. Yeah. It take time. It take time to build. You got to make sure the foundation is solid first. You see what I'm saying? But it take time to break down the walls, or break down the barriers that we put up. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we have PTSD. You know what I'm saying? We got pre-trauma that we had before in our prior lives. So we put this wall up like, nah, I'm not finna be vulnerable with anybody else no more. Nah, you know what I'm saying? But what I tell people is what your future is not indicative of what your past results were. You see what I'm saying? So I can't put on her my past traumas, what I've had with other females and other females that didn't have my back, you know, towards the end. And I had to, you know, put the sweat equity in the years and the behind it. And then they see, I see, like, damn, she ain't really had me like I needed her. You know what I'm saying? I can't put that on her. I got to give her a chance. I got to give her a shot until she proved me otherwise wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I think as far as females, like you said, you got to be in tune with reality. You know what I mean? You can't look on social media. You can't look on reality TV and be like, oh, well, he makes 6 figures. The problem that people don't understand, his paycheck or his description of his job may say he makes 6 figures, but he ain't bringing that in. I promise you, he's not bringing that in. You know what I mean? So with that, you know what I mean? You need to understand, okay, if you want him to bring in 6 figures, you need to bring in 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the females are not doing that. A lot of them are seeing what other people have and they want that, but they're not actually being honest with themselves or being honest with the person that they want. Like, I believe that when it comes to the beginning of the relationship, this is just me. Not saying this is how it was, but I'm a 50-50 type of person, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure you understand I'm not here for what you have, but we can come meet together. And as we meet together, then I'll let you determine how you want the relationship to continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that we understand that I can meet you at the same weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to come with less than. I may have more, but at least I'm going to let you know that we're going to be on the same level. And I think that's what females need to understand is you need to come with the same thing that you're asking someone else to have. You know what I'm saying? You can't ask him not to have a baby mama. You can't ask him not to have kids if you got 2 or 3 baby daddies and, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got no money, but you want him to have money. Like, you need to understand that people do have past, you know what I'm saying? They do have trauma, but you have to make that man available and understand, like, I'm here, I can listen. Like you said, weaponizing. Females love to weaponize what a man say. Y'all are so hard to talk to, you know what I'm saying? But when the floor is open and you feel comfortable, you can get everything out, but you have to make that available. And that's what women don't do. It's not just to go tell your girlfriends, oh, girl, he did da 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 da. Nah, it's for y'all to have that conversation so you can be better supportive to him, so that you can be available for him. So when things start to happen in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can do it together. Mm-hmm. But you got to know who you're dealing with. And that's when you become vulnerable and he becomes vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all both have to be open. Y'all both have to share those secrets together, because we all got baggage. You know what I'm saying? We all had a life before we met whoever. I don't care how old you are, you know what I'm saying? But you got to be open about it, because I promise you, it's going to come out later. And it's either, you know what I'm saying, how you want it to come out. Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? We had conversation. It'd be like, oh, yeah, he did such and such. Yeah, I already know. What you mean? He told you? Yeah, we talked about everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, He literally has homeboys, and they'll be like, yo, man, B used to be da-da-da-da. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. They be like, what you mean? Like, I know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't marry him just because I wanted to be married. You know what I'm saying? I didn't be with him just because I wanted someone to be with. I truly know who I'm dealing with, and that's why we're able to do those things. And that's what I would like women to understand is like you need to know who you're dealing with, and they need to know who they're dealing with in you. You know what I'm saying? You put everything out on the table. If you get hurt and burned, it's okay, but you are completely 100% of who you are. You are authentic. And you know what I'm saying? A person has to love you for who you are, not for who they want you to be or who they expect you to be. It's like one thing I told him is like, I don't expect you to be nothing but yourself. Like you asked a question, well, what kind of man are you looking for? I want you to be you. Because if I tell you who I want you to be, you're going to start trying to be that person because you like me. But then that's only going to last so long. It can last 6 months, it can last 6 years, or it can last 26 years. But eventually you're going to get to your true self, and I'm not going to like that person because you were trying to be who I wanted you to be. But I want you to be who you are. And that's how you start to learn who a person is. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Yeah, and then I want to dive deeper in what she was saying in the beginning, her whole segue. When she's saying the man, he might show us saying making 6 figures on paper, but he ain't bringing that in. And what she's saying, okay, let's say you make over $150,000. Now taxes, you depending on where you live at, you might be taxed at anywhere from a 35% rate to a 47% rate. So now it's your job before taxes, you brought that home. But now technically you about to made only $80,000-$90,000. And like I said, depending on where you at, if you in California, New York, your tax rate might be higher than what you. So it's easy for an individual to go out there I make 6 figures, but do you bring that home? And that's what she meant by on paper, you could say all day I made 6 figures, but are you truly bringing it home?
Yeah, because you got to consider not just the taxes, but even the bills and all of the necessary things. Like, what do you have left after that? Is it still 6 figures then?
Right.
No.
Exactly. And then inflation. You know what I'm saying? Like Absolutely. I said, a lot of that is really depicted on where you stay at. Like I said, New York, California, those are high tax areas, and inflation is through the roof. So for you to get a place to where you want to live at and have a car or whatever, that's going to erode and eliminate a lot of what you bringing in. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Just little simple things like that. But that goes back to the financial piece. You know what I'm saying? Being financially educated. Because it's easy to go to a woman and I make 6 figures. But do you really? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And is that man humble enough to tell you, nah, I really don't.
No, definitely not. Something else I want to ask you guys while we're talking about certain conversations that need to be had in the beginning of relationships or just in the beginning in general. You're mentioning financial literacy and we're mentioning relationships. Credit scores have to fall in there somewhere. And so at what point do you have the conversation of credit with your partner? And is there a timetable? I understand every relationship is different, but at what point do you feel it's necessary to start talking about that?
I don't think you need to talk about credit scores.
No,
I think it's more of debt, what you have, you know what I'm saying? Because your credit score can be bad, but you still don't have any debt. You know what I'm saying? Just because you didn't learn about credit. Some people think that, I have bad credit. No, you may just not have credit. You know what I'm saying? So a person may not understand credit. And I may have good credit, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do with money. So credit score is not as important as people really think that it is, the conversation to have when it's starting a relationship. But it may come down, you know what I'm saying, later on. But at the beginning, I don't feel like credit is something, but I do want to know, you know what I'm saying, how many student loans you got, you know what I'm saying, how much, how many other things that credit card bills or, you know what I'm saying, that you haven't paid off. Because if you get married, those are the things that are going to come with me. You know what I'm saying? That's going to actually impact me. Your credit score may not, because we can use one credit and not use both. But when you put those debts together, it's going to impact both of us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like credit score is something that really is, you know what I'm saying, as important as people think when it comes to the beginning of the relationship.
She is so spot on. I'm not going to lie to you. Credit is one of those things that the American culture has kind of weaponized as a barometer and a real big talking point. But credit is big in a sense, and it's not really big in a sense. So what I mean by that is to sit up here and talk about credit, but what you gonna do with good credit? You see what I'm saying? You can have a perfect score. You can have an 850, right? But what you gonna do with it? You see what I'm saying? Are you going out getting loans and things that are gonna bring you in more money? Or are you just a talking point to say, Man, I've got a perfect credit score. Okay, what does that mean? That doesn't mean, like, especially when you're talking to somebody that's really financially literate, like, that doesn't mean anything to me. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, what are you doing with it? Same thing with bad credit. Okay, maybe you made some mistakes at a younger age. Maybe your parents took your Social Security number and put some stuff in your name, and we all know that goes on, right? But like she hit it right on the head. Like, okay, if you got student loan debts, let's talk about that. You see what I'm saying? Because there are people out here with good credit that have student loan debts. It's just credit is just a good barometer to say I'm paying my bills on time. It's no different than school when it says like what school like teaches you. It teaches you how to be in a good working job, how to come to work on time, be present, but that doesn't help you in like creating your own business. It doesn't help you like when it comes to financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't teach financial literacy in school. So, and you got to ask yourself, why not? Why do they don't want you to know about financial literacy? So when you start talking about credit, she is 1,000% spot on. Let's talk about the real things. Let's talk about, you got medical bills, you got student loan debt. You know, we can navigate and maneuver through that. But I see a lot of times now where people are trying to pile on loans to defer their loans and their student loans to further their education, like cause and effect. Like, are you truly trying to further your education because you want to better yourself? Or are you just saying, I don't want to pay this money, so I'm going to keep deferring? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm real big on consequences and just action versus reaction. Like, you have to be very careful while you're making the decision you're making. Because one thing I will say, a lot of people don't know how to make sound decisions. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you're one of those people where you're doing something and you're operating in the world of insanity, meaning you're doing something over and over again, and it's not getting you further in life, it's not helping you out in life, then stop doing it. Figure out something else. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it's causing you hardship. But I ain't want to dive too deep down in that rabbit hole, and we venture off in a whole nother conversation. But to piggyback what we were talking about, yeah, she's 1,000%. Like, let's have the surface conversation of, what debts do you have, not actually what your credit score is, because that's not really indicative of, how you're really able to manage responsibility and all that.
And that goes back to how finances and relationships are intertwined. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, if you're not good with making good decisions, we're not going to make it too far. You know what I'm saying? Because when things get hard and I need someone to make a strong decision, or I need your help making a decision, you can't help me. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, so those conversations may not be, you know what I'm saying, the credit score, but it definitely needs to be conversations to find out how you handle money.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard you mention something else too. You talked about finances being intertwined. Do you guys recommend for relationships to have a monthly budget?
Absolutely. We big on not even just a monthly budget. Know your budget. Mm-hmm. Know what's going in. Know what's coming out. Like, know that. Know your numbers. Know where you're at. Like, and I'm talking about all the way down to a T. And it's very simple to do. Like, and make sure you update it. Don't just do it annualized thing. So one of the biggest things that me and my wife do that really help us out is we don't do like a New Year's resolution, but one thing we do is we really come to Vegas every year for New Year's, and then we write down our goal list. We'll talk about our budgets or whatnot, and then usually in the middle of the year we will touch bases back on that and see if we're on track, what changes we need to make or whatever. But to go back to your question, to do a monthly budget, yes, that's a start. But that's not the end, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you do the budget, you see how far you're out of whack, or do you see where you need to make improvement, or you see where you can be better at? Because the goal and one of the pillars of our business that we do is trying to get 1% better every day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So one day, when you continue to get 1% better, you're compounding that, and the compound effect on an annualized basis, you're like, man, I'm really a different person. I really am a better person. But to hit on what you just said, yeah, that's a start. Do a budget. Know what's going in, what's coming out for sure, and constantly update it.
Get rid of some stuff. Yeah, like a lot of people don't understand, like, when you're doing a budget, there's 3 budgets that need to be done. You need to do individuals for both of you all, and then you need to do one together, and that's where you get all 3. Because, you know what I'm saying, like, some people have other expenses, whether it's their student loans, whether it's their child support or whatever. That may not be for, you know what I'm saying, both people. So that's why that one needs to do their expenses and budgets, and then the other spouse does it, and then they put it together. And how do we come up so that we're not in the red, we're in the green? You know what I'm saying? What can we do to make more money so that, you know, it's not a burden? Because the finances, those expenses, they're gonna start adding up, and as inflation, as time goes on, they get more expensive. You know what I'm saying? Because life happens. You know.
Absolutely.
Right. And then another thing I want to add too, like, let's say you whatever your living condition is when y'all were both single, right? Let's say like she had her own place, you had your own place, right? And you were able to maintain it. How do two people come together and they either stagnant or they're worse off when they came together? Like, that never made any sense, but it goes back to like what I said. A lot of people don't know how to make sound fundamental decisions, because if y'all come together, y'all should be at least, if you can't be twofold of what y'all were doing, at least 1.5.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I'm just being real. I couldn't tell you how many times I see people get together and they're doing the same status quo, and I'm like, bro, that was a roommate then. You know what I'm saying? That's something you. The only way you not coming together as a unit or as two is that was your roommate. But if y'all got a true partnership, you gotta have those real hard conversations on what's gonna be our do what you want money. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna be what we're gonna spend on the mortgage or the rent, the utilities. Yes, you do expect the utilities to go out because some people want the house colder, some people like the house hotter or whatever. But you should still be able to, whether we're gonna cook more in the house versus going out to eat all the time, and you're bringing two incomes in the fold now. So how you bringing two incomes and y'all still either flat or y'all coming out less than? That's a roommate, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not a partnership. It's always better as a unit. It's always better as a team. So in order to get better, y'all have to have these conversations. Y'all got to talk about this stuff. You see what I'm saying? But if y'all come together and then it's like, well, I got my life, and then she like, well, I got my life, and then you gonna just do whatever you want, like, that don't make a whole lot of sense. Like, what was the point of y'all coming together in the first place?
But I do want people to know, like, it's not, mental achievers is not just for people with, like, couples. It's not just people that are in a relationship. If you're by yourself and you're solo dolo, these things still apply to you. You still need to do a budget. You still need to invest in yourself. You still need to understand all the fundamentals, financial literacy, because you can be better off if you're with someone, but you also can be better by yourself as well. So people do need to understand, like, it is nice to have two, you know what I'm saying? It's nice to have an extra income, but that doesn't mean that's what you have to do to become financially free. It's not what you need to do to get out of rat race, because I think that is what some people are doing. They are getting married just for the extra, you know, money. They are getting married just so that they can have, you know what I'm saying, more money and do better things, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, like, do it by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Don't get married. Don't get in a relationship just so that you can have, quote unquote, more money. You know what I'm saying? Do learn how to take care of yourself if you're by yourself.
Right.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be something I was going to ask you guys too. Like, I do understand the financial literacy and the relationship counseling, but what if it was someone that was single that wanted help as well too? Would you guys be open to helping them also? So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah, you got to change your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's better, you know what I'm saying, for you to be able to understand, because I can bring more to the table when I do start dating. You know what I'm saying? When I am available, because as a female, I've realized being around, you know what I'm saying, certain men and age groups is, if you don't have money, y'all are completely different to handle. You know what I'm saying? Different to be around, because you feel like your ego and your pride is taken away. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have it by yourself, you don't need to be in no relationship. You don't need to start, you know what I'm saying, dating or anything like that, because I don't know, but this day and age, these females, they don't want no regular first date. Like, you know what I'm saying? They actually trying to go out and break the banks. And I'm like,
No more Cheesecake Factory?
man, no.
Look, that's why I'm laughing low key, because like, as I'm listening to you guys, I'm like, I don't know if they want to have that conversation on the first date. Like,
But that's where it starts, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes back to, like you said, it's decision making. I need to know how you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For our first date was IHOP.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And I'm like,
Before the prices skyrocketed.
Yes, it was before. 2 people, $30.
Yeah.
But it was a conversation we had. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I do want to go out. You know what I'm saying? Well, he don't drink coffee because my thing is like coffee. Hey, that's $5. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. But I want to understand who you are and get to know you.
Facts,
so where else can we go that's not expensive? And he said, IHOP. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I really want to truly get to know who you are as a person. I'm not trying to just get a free meal because, you know what I'm saying? I can go lie on an app and get, you know what I mean, a birthday dinner without a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, that's not what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people do need to understand, like, sometimes you got to start at the bottom because I don't want to take advantage of you. I want both of us to be honest with each other and see who we are, you know what I'm saying, as an individual.
Yeah, for sure. And like she said, we created mental achievers to help out all facets of life. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter like if you're in a relationship or if you're single. It's just about getting that education. Like, okay, how can I invest my money? How can I do better in my relationship? How can I better teach my kids about finances and helping them understand? Like, that's the whole gist of mental achievers. It's like a big community try to get out, like change the narrative, change the mindset. Try to change the mindset of you don't have to be in a rat race. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, being broke is a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the faster you realize that, the better off you will be. And then, like I said, I always tell her, like, if you don't want to read the books, if you don't want to put the time in, and if you don't want to do the work, that's what we are for. We're the conduits to help you cut that time. And it took me 5 years to get where I'm at as far as a financial literacy, financial freedom, debt free, house paid for, cars paid for, space. But if you asking for that to be that time frame to be cut in half, okay, that's what you're paying for the services for. You see what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter you're like if you whip somebody or anything or you're single. It's for, you know, anyone. And like I said, it's affordable rate. We're not one of those ones that we're charging $5,000, $10,000 getting this Discord or this community. And now it's like, why the hell am I supposed to come up with $5,000, $10,000? You know what I'm saying? So no, but it's just an affordable avenue to get that one-on-one, whether it's virtual or whether it's a physical setting. If you're in the state of Georgia, you know, or in an Atlanta area, to, you know, get that financial literacy aspect from. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, to go back to what she was saying now, that's the reason why we created Mental Achievers.
Absolutely. And then before we finish up, I'm going to definitely give you guys the opportunity to give the people an idea of exactly where to find you guys, what they want to do if they're open to joining or just getting more information from you guys. So I'll make sure we plug that.
Okay, cool.
But before we get there, I did have some rapid fire questions for you guys. Not even questions, some are just statements.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to just give them to you guys.
How rapid we talking?
Yes.
You know, like, you know what I'm saying? That rapid can be like 2 minutes.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. We want your honest feedback, your honest opinions, okay?
Cool,
and some of them we did kind of touch over already, but just want to kind of see where you guys' head is at, okay?
All right, cool.
Alrighty, so the first one is, I should combine all my money once I'm married.
That depends. Y'all need to have that conversation. It depends on the household. You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all are comfortable. Me personally, I feel like there should be 3. You have your money, I have my money, and then we have money together. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel. There should be a separate, but y'all should communicate how that's going to work for you all, because one person may spend more money than the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a penny pincher. I want to find a coupon. I want to save a deal, but I also want to go out and do things too. But we do have those things together. So
yeah. So as far as how it works between me and her, she's spot on how it works. But to piggyback what she said, everybody's different. Let's say I'm a man, I'm bad with money. I got a bad gambling addiction, or I love to shop for clothes, buy high-end clothes. Let's say I love to help people. Maybe I'm not the best financial suited person to be handling the finances. Maybe the woman should, you know, it could be vice versa. Maybe she likes to order those Amazon packages a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she like to go on girl trips a little bit too much. Maybe she a little bit swipe happy with the credit card. You see what I'm saying? So it's really all individual based and understanding, okay, from a financial budgeting standpoint, from handling the finances aspect, who is betterly sound to handle that? Is it one? Is it both of y'all? Or can we combine it and have a little piece in each bucket? So I would say that's definitely, you know, it's different for every couple.
Okay. Perfect. I love that answer. All right. Now, the next one is, if we make more money, our relationship will get easier.
Love the question.
Nope. I think that's a yes and a no. I think that it also depends on y'all communication. I think it depends on how you are as individuals. It can be easier when you're making, you know what I'm saying, or if you have more money because y'all are communicating, you know what your budget is, you know what y'all are going to do, what your expenses are. But it can also be bad because some people make more money and they completely change. Y'all didn't have that conversation. You don't know what's going to happen. They see a little bit more money. Oh, they want to go, you know what I'm saying, spend more money. But it's just like, well, are we investing more? Are we saving more for our future? So I think it's a yes and a no. It all depends.
Yep, that's basically all on your financial literacy aspect. Just remember the rule. The more you make, the more they take. So unless you know how to maneuver, navigate, and those percentages, they go up. So from an average middle class home, you can be in a 20%, 22, 24% tax rate. But if you start making a good chunk of change, now you in the 37 to 47% tax rate. So it goes back to the more you make, the more they take. So if you're not able to create even more money on top of the more money that you're making, you're going to end up falling victim to the rat race. You see what I'm saying? And you're going to end up just spinning your wheel faster on the hamster wheel. You see what I'm saying? So like she said, yes and a no. All depends on your financial education piece of it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Now, the next one is, this is a short one. Credit cards are bad.
I don't know. Like, I'm one of them people, I feel like there's a yes and no. There's never a straight answer. You know what I'm saying? It's only bad if you don't know how credit cards work. You know what I'm saying? If you don't understand that you need to have the money so that you don't pay that 21% APR, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a credit card may give you a $10,000, you know, limit. Are you spending all $10,000 and not paying it off? So now you're only paying the minimum. You know what I'm saying? So then, yeah, credit card is bad for you because you don't know how they work. But if you're someone, you know, that knows how a credit card works, you know that you need to go ahead and pay the full balance, and so that you can avoid that APR. Now you're getting the points on the credit cards or whatever the credit card benefits. Now you're using that to pay for expenses and other things. You know what I'm saying? Then, all right, you're good with credit cards. So I'm a yes or no type of person.
Yeah. I mean, like she said, everything's not black and white, but rapid fire wise in our community, bad.
Oh, they bad.
Bad. You know what I'm saying? You gotta ask yourself, like, damn, why they willing to trust me with $10,000?
Right.
I don't even have $10,000 in my bank account.
Right.
So why they? Oh man, they gonna up my limit. They give me $20,000. Why? You gotta ask yourself, why would they do that?
Right.
Because maybe they know something you don't know.
That you can't afford to pay for it.
Maybe
so
they
now
know
that
they gonna end up getting triple the amount back,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, versus on the interest fees. So in our community, in our culture, for rapid fire purposes, bad.
Yeah, whether you believe it or not, free money always costs you.
Right.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Nothing free. Nothing free.
That's the best way for me to
1000%
word it. Free money always costs you. Okay.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, this one we kind of touched on earlier, but I want to see what you guys think again. So you should always split bills 50-50.
You know, like I said, that really depends as far as, because let's say like I make $100,000, she make $50,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That's not even 50-50. Like, that equation is not 50-50. So for us to split the bills 50-50 doesn't make any sense. So we got to make the conversation make sense. I can't expect her, like, she makes $50,000, I make $100,000, we're going to split the bills 50-50. That's a starting point. We got to say, like, oh, wait a minute, that don't make a whole lot of sense. So we got two things we can do. We can figure out a way to increase our income, or we can figure out to balance the bills. But in a quick rapid fire answer, there's your answer right there.
That's when your budget come in at.
And then the last one you guys kind of touched on as well too. Should married couples have separate bank accounts?
That depends. Like I said, y'all need to have that conversation. Y'all need to talk, because even though you may have separate, you know, bank accounts, do you have access to both bank accounts? Are bank accounts hidden from each other? You know what I'm saying? Does one person know about the other, or they don't? You know what I'm saying? Do y'all still have money together? So if something does happen to one spouse, you know what I'm saying, does the other spouse have access? Are they able to, you know, do what needs to be done? So I don't think that, you know, that should be for every couple. I think it just, y'all need to have that conversation.
So I would say, why do we have separate bank accounts? What's the reasoning behind it? You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, Do we have beneficiaries on those bank accounts? You see what I'm saying? Like, are you comfortable and okay with your spouse being a beneficiary to your account? Do they know about this account? You know what I'm saying? So going back to what we talked about, weaponizing. Are you maliciously trying to hide money, keep money, because maybe the other person not good with money? Have these conversations.
Right.
So to me, it's more about the conversation first on the why,
Right.
and then it'll help you better avenue and, maneuver through, do you need to have a separate bank account or not?
Okay, perfect. No, that's gonna be it. Like I said, I just had a few rapid fire questions. I just wanted to see like where you guys' head was at. That's all.
I appreciate it.
Now, I want to give you guys the opportunity. We've talked a lot about the business and about what you guys do and why you guys do it. But for someone who's actually interested in getting more information and actually, taking part in what you guys do, how can they find you? What do they have to do to take advantage of it? Just look in this camera and let the people know.
Okay, so I'm gonna let her give all the contact information. She's more better off as far as like all the social media content or whatever. But we're Atlanta-based. Company's called Mental Achievers. We have a website. We already have customers that have already come in and shop with us. But basically, we're the conduits. Like I said, if you don't want to read, you don't want to put the work in, you don't want to understand the stock market, you don't want to look at charts all day, you don't understand how financials work in the business, those are things that we can help you out with. As far as relationships, if you don't make financial sound decisions in your relationships, whether you say, hey, we don't know how to put the ego and the pride to the side in our relationship, these are things that we can help out at an affordable cost, at an affordable rate. We're not one of these companies where we're trying to get rich off of anyone else or the consumer. We have our own money. We don't manage people's money. We're not trying to hold your money. We're not going to be your 401k. We're just simply the conduits to give you the information, educate you so you can manage your own money. And if you're not going to get it from us, we respect and appreciate you get it from someone that, we understand is like a church, and you trying to figure out that pastor and who can speak to y'all to say, you know what, I understand how he's saying, I understand how he's getting it in a raw sense, and we understand like what he's trying to say. That's the person for me. But we advocate and say that everybody needs to be financially aware. Everybody needs to be trying to strive for being financially free. And then, anything else you got to add to it, and you can give them the social media aspect, because I thought I was going to shut up, knowing that off the top of my
I don't either.
Oh,
All right. First off, you got your website, www.mentalachievers.com. That's first. On there, you'll get additional information, who we are. You'll be able to look at our services, what we're able to provide for you. We do have Instagram, Mental Achievers _.
Yep.
All right. Mental _achievers, MENTAL _ACHIEVERS. We also have TikTok, same thing. That's more of our relationship. The Mental Achievers Instagram is more of our financial. You'll see a little bit more of me and a lot more of B on that. Promise you on that one. But I am also still here available for services. Mental Achievers TikTok, more of our relationship. That is going to be a little bit more on the personal side. You'll get to see a little bit more of what we do together on our relationship side, but sharing information. We're coming out with more things each and every day. Getting you all to understand that you have to start with your mind. Your mind is where everything begins. So getting that leads to everything else. So just make sure that you start wanting to do something more for yourself.
Yep. And before we wrap up, just understand it's a safe space. No question is dumb. If you don't know the answer, if you don't know it all, or you're inquisitive about certain things, it's okay. You can ask. We do a free 10-minute consultation to see if you will be fit as a client, and we could take you on or whatnot. But that portion of it, we do a 10-minute free consultation. And like she said, you can check out our social media. You can check out all the different things that we offer or whatnot.
Perfect. Now, before we do wrap up, I got to do my Be Great Academy check-in. You guys have been doing a lot. I know that you're running a business. You guys been flying back and forth. So
sure.
It's only right that I slow down for just a moment and just remove the business owner out of it and just, see you guys as humans. How are you guys doing mentally right now?
Oh, man. It's crazy. Honestly, how we doing right now, we just focus so driven on the business that, like I said, we naturally travel all the time. Mm-hmm. right? We don't even have nothing like lined up as far as traveling. So we were trying to get back to our personal selves, like, okay, hey, where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, or whatever. Because, like I said, we just started this business maybe not even 2 months ago, and we just been so locked in and so driven to how we're gonna grow it or whatnot. But as far as, like I said, before we got out here, we were talking about other places we're gonna go. We just did Monaco this year. We did Singapore this year. So we trying to do more crazy trips, more, things that you don't see in our community, things that you might see what other people look like that don't look like us have done, you know what I'm saying? So for us to be this young and be able to talk about some of the places, some of the things that we've done, I just feel like traveling is the biggest way to educate yourself, because you get to see how other cultures live and how they do things or whatnot. But, from my perspective, I think we're doing well. We're constantly growing. We're constantly, trying to get 1% better every day as individuals and as a couple, you know what I'm saying? And even though we're going on our 7th year, we're trying to just still grow. You know what I'm saying? We're trying not to be complacent and stagnate. And then, one of the dopest things me and her do, we challenge each other. You know what I'm saying? We never allow each other to get too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? She's not afraid to speak her mind, speak her piece in a very respectful way. And I'm not, shy to do it as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what keeps us strong and keeps us solid. But like I said, it goes back to that solid foundation. You got to have it.
Okay, what about you? How you doing mentally right now?
Mentally, you know what? I'm like a sponge right now, but it's more on a different aspect than what it was before. Like before, it was more of like understanding finances and, more in a relationship. Now it's trying to understand mentally, like content creating, because we were not big social media people. Like it was like, we took a picture and we may post if we're going somewhere just so people can see, but it's like creating content. It's like, do we really gotta sit here and video? It's like, do we really gotta sit here? All right, move the cup, move this, move that, so we can get this picture. And it's like trying to get into that mentally, you know what I'm saying, is a little bit harder because it wasn't something that we were big on. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get him to take pictures together. Like, it's, hey, babe, can I take a picture? Well, how many? Like, when? It's like, come on, like, can I just get 2? And, like, now I just have to randomly do things because I know he doesn't like to take pictures. And I know, like, I really have to be strategic. And I'm not really a big picture taker either, you know what I'm saying? So I think that mentally has been something that's been really, like, challenging on our side. Because it's like, we can talk all day, you know what I mean? But putting the videos out there and putting the content and editing, who thought that there was all these ways of editing and trying to get
Shout out to my editors over there. Okay,
Yes. Like, man. And then you're trying to do it on your phone. Like places like this have nice setups, but you don't have this at your house every day. You're not taking this with you, on trips. Because I promise you, I'm not packing all this on top of all the clothes and shoes that we have. You know what I'm saying? So getting that mentally has really been like, it takes you into a completely different person, and you try to find yourself like not getting frustrated, because sometimes people don't understand when you start a business, you really have to be mindful of your relationship too, because it takes time away. Like, we so busy sometimes we'll get caught up, and it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, hey, I'm here, you know what I'm saying? Like, put your phone down, because we get so caught up, time runs by, and it's like, all right, we got to get a moment, you know what I'm saying, for each other, versus all of this for putting it out for other people. So
that's real. Like she said, I don't like taking no pictures, man. My background, I live a dark background, so it's like pictures equal feds and going to jail and stuff like that. So it's like, man, I don't want to take no pictures. I ain't trying to do no videos. I ain't trying to share my location. Like, if I do a trip, I'm posting this stuff after I'm gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that PTSD in me, man. But it's like, trying to get integrated and shake hands, be a politician, and be nice. Like, sometimes you might not be in the mood. Like, you might have somebody approach you, and you're like, bro, what you asking me? Like, what's your motive type stuff? And then it's like, okay, cool.
Like actually, my motive is the middle achievers. That's all. It's like, my bad.
Exactly. So now it's like you and them. I don't want to say like you're a public figure, but you gotta be a certain way. You gotta have a certain demeanor about yourself. You do have to be more approachable. Because like before this life we started, I was like, I didn't want to be approached.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you have to do a lot more smile, a lot more showing of the teeth, and you know what I'm saying? And thank God she can get that little kid side out of me now. So now it's like just tapping to my inner child. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
No, that's perfect. I love those answers. And my biggest thing is like, I feel like everyone moves so much and does so much on a regular that we almost forget just to check in on people. And so at BGA, we're big on just making sure that people are doing good. Mental health is something that we're serious about. So even all of us, like earlier today, like even my guys over there, they're like, hey man, like, are you good? Like, how are you doing? So even when I hear that, like it really is good to hear that like people really would just take the time to just see how you truly are doing. So that's why I said we just want to make sure that we're checking on you guys.
That's what's up.
You know, people ain't gonna be honest though. You know what I mean?
Of
you
course
ask
not.
the question.
But I gotta at least make sure I give you the floor to try, so I know I did my part. Okay.
Yeah, we definitely.
But you gotta set the plate up though, so you can make your whether it's your friends, your spouse, whatever, so they can be vulnerable.
True.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
True.
I had a guy, and I hope this don't go over too long, but it is what it. I got to tell this story. I had a guy I go to the gym all the time with. And he came in one day. He always telling me about his wife or whatnot, and I seen him, and I was just like, "You straight?" He like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, you ain't good. I can see your energy not right, and I can see how you came in. You didn't come in right. You didn't come in with that right bounce, that right movement." And then maybe 30 minutes later, he came and found me. He said, "Man, bro, I really truly appreciate it. I'm going through something with my wife, and we might be getting a divorce." And I was just like, "Damn, bro." And I gave him a couple words. I ain't gonna say too much of his business or whatnot, but what I'm trying to get at is you got to set the tone. You got to set the plate for that person to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to articulate yourself and say why you saying like, "Nah, bro, you don't look good," and say why. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be like, "Hey, you good?" and you like, "Man, I did my piece." You know what I'm saying? That's like actually be a good friend, be a good steward, be a good, you know what I'm saying? Because you will want the same thing. You don't want to just go through the motions when it comes to mental health. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Actually say like, "Bro, I know you." You know what I'm saying? I know when you good. I know when you upbeat and you positive and just let them know like, hey, we all go through stuff. Right. We all, and you ain't gotta talk about it. You ain't gotta tell me. You ain't gotta be honest. I just want to let you know, bro, I'm watching you. You know what I'm saying? So I know like how it is. You know, and whatever you going through, I'm gonna pray for you about it. You know what I'm saying? And then they can do one or two things. They can keep it to themselves, or they can open up to you and be like, "You know what, bro?" You know what I'm saying? Even though they might not want to tell you the story, say, "You know what? I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you as a friend, as you know what I'm saying, that you were there for me and you looked out."
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It's funny you say that because I had made the comment, that exact comment to someone recently about like making sure that you have the safe space. Because like, for example, the conversation I was having with them is like, I'm always the one that's checking on people, and I'm always looking at, just checking out, are you good? Are you good? Are you good? I was telling them, I was like, honestly, like, I don't really get that from anybody. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm looking for it. It's not that at all. You know what I mean? It's not that at all.
You're just saying your facts. You're saying your truth.
I'm just being 100. I was like, as much as I do it, I was like, I really never get that.
Yeah.
And when I told them that, the person that said that was like, well, Vincent, you don't tell anybody anything. Like, you never really, you're like a closed book. Even when we talk to you, you don't tell us much. I was like, but you understand, like, y'all don't give me that safe space.
Yeah,
people come to me like they do because I give them that.
Yeah.
I was like, so if you're feeling like I'm not telling you that, like, I can't help you with that. Like, that's more of a you thing. You know what I mean? Right. So that's why I definitely understand where you're coming from. Like, the space definitely has to be there for sure.
Yeah, and then twofold, you know what I'm saying? Like, for her, for instance, she's a very selfless person, bro. She'll give you the shirt off her back. She's constantly checking on people and making sure others are okay, right? And I always tell her, you being selfless, that's who you are. You see what I'm saying? But you got to have more of a balance. You got to figure out a way to be selfish. You have to figure out a way to be selfless. And it doesn't have to be 50-50.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be 100-0 either. You see what I'm saying? And I will give you that same advice because it seems like you're the same way. You're a very selfless person. You're the one that's going to constantly check up on people, see how people are doing, be that ear for people to cry on, whatever, whatnot. Right? But at the end of the day, you're still human. And you owe it to yourself to find you somebody, whether you have to pay somebody, whether you have to just go out through networking, friendship, you have to find someone that the energy can be reciprocated. And it's so important because it helps you. Because sometimes I've noticed in life, we go through things and us saying them out loud makes us help us understand like, man, I'm tripping. Or maybe I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't need a person where I need you to validate what I'm saying or agree with what I'm saying. Sometimes I just need to get off my chest how I feel. So either I've let the energy go and it's gone, or I say, man, you know what? It wasn't even that big of a deal. Sometimes I like to tell people too, you set people up in the wrong situation. You're giving them environment. Maybe they're not equipped to be that type of friend that you want them to be. Maybe they not tasked for that. Maybe you giving them the ear or the shoulder to cry on, and maybe that ain't the shoulder you need to be crying on. Meaning like they ain't the person you need to be trying to find that sympathy or that safe space for. That's why I say you owe it to yourself to find that, whether it's professionally or unprofessionally. But you owe it to yourself to say, I need somebody that's going to listen. And not only listen, they're going to be proactive. They're going to like regurgitate everything I said, or, you know, sympathize, or give me constructive criticism and say, you know what, bro, you wrong. You went about it the wrong way. You tagged somebody to do something, and you know that wasn't a person that you should have been asking to do something for. You see what I'm saying? So it works both ways, but man, that's the biggest thing I see with people a lot, especially selfless people. You have to find that balance of selfishness and being selfless, because if not, bro, I know we talked a lot about rat race and financial literacy, but you can also be that person on that wheel, spin it, and now you're tired. Your energy is drained. You're burnt. You like, I didn't give people my all. Now I'm at my lowest. Now I need help. Now I need somebody to cry out for me and give me help. And ain't nobody there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I done gave my shirt on my back so many times. I done ripped my skin. Who there for me? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to get that stuff off your chest. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it could be somebody just telling you, bro, God gave you the vision to take that. He put you on this track so you can, you know what I'm saying? You can have a torch and you can run with it because he knew you was equipped. He gave you all the tools and everything you needed to be the strong one, to be, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't trying to lecture you or lecture the audience, but I'm just letting you know I see both sides of it. I see how it can be. I see how being a selfless person can be exhausting. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to, you know, whoever need to hear it, it ain't got to be just for you. It ain't got to be for the audience, but whoever needed to hear it, I know how it can get. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I get it, bro.
Definitely. You know, we definitely appreciate you guys, man. I want to say thank you again. Before we finish up, I want you guys both to think of one question. I'm going to let you ask the viewers. But go ahead and get that in your head together. Again,
for sure.
It's been another episode of Be Great Academy. I want to thank B and K for coming out with us. Coming in Experience BGA Studios out here on this beautiful Las Vegas Strip. And before we finish, everyone is watching tonight, I want you to go home and ask your partner, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is. We're going to ask them 2 questions, okay? The first question is, let me hear.
Do you want more for life?
Tell me again, do you want more for life?
Do you want more in life?
Okay, that's going to be question number 1. And then question number 2 is B.
Do you want to become a victim?
It's tough right there. Okay. All right. I love that there. All right. Well, that's going to be it for us, man. We want to thank you guys again. Remember that if you guys want to follow them, it's going to be Mental Achievers on IG. That's MENTAL_Achievers. We'll make sure to add the IG handle down there. If you guys have questions, please hop in the comments. Please make sure you ask. There is no wrong question. There is no dumb question or crazy question. We would much rather you ask than hold that in, okay?
Yes,
and then lastly, I want to say thank you guys again for coming out with us. We want to make sure we can get you guys back for another episode again.
For sure.
With this view? Man.
For sure.
Absolutely. But that's going to be it for Be Great Academy. Remember, at the end of the day, we have 2 options. That's Be Great or Be Great. We'll see you guys soon. Perfect.
Appreciate it.